Part 1. The Secret Power Within. One evening, many years ago, I found myself sitting across from a man whose eyes burned with an energy I could not explain. His voice was calm, steady, almost hypnotic, yet the words he spoke stirred something deep inside me. "You already have the greatest servant you'll ever know," he said, "and it's been waiting for your command since the day you were born." At first, I thought he was talking about luck, or talent, or maybe even hard work. But he shook his head gently, as if to correct a child. "No," he whispered. "I'm speaking of your subconscious mind." That was the night I began to understand the mysterious force that has shaped every titan of industry, every great leader, every self-made millionaire I would come to study in the years ahead. Your subconscious mind is not a vague idea. It is not magic. It is the mechanism that builds your reality. And like a faithful servant, it never questions, never doubts, never stops. It takes every order you give it, whether given consciously or carelessly, and works tirelessly to bring it to life. Think of it this way: your subconscious is like the soil of a vast and fertile field. Whatever seeds you plant in it, through repetition, emotion, and belief, will eventually grow into your harvest. Plant weeds and you'll reap weeds. Plant golden grain, and you'll reap a golden future. This truth is simple, but most people ignore it their whole lives. The men who programmed their minds. When I studied the lives of America's most successful men, I found they all had one thing in common: they learned how to program their subconscious minds deliberately. Take Clement Stone, for example. He wasn't born into wealth or privilege. Yet he repeated his affirmations hundreds of times each day until they became as automatic as his heartbeat. "Repetition," he would say, "is the mother of learning." By flooding his subconscious with positive instructions, he built one of the most powerful insurance empires in the world. Or consider Dale Carnegie. Before audiences knew his name, he was already living in the world he had created in his mind. Each night, he closed his eyes and imagined himself speaking to packed halls, teaching, inspiring, and transforming lives. He created mental movies so vivid that his subconscious mind could not tell the difference between imagination and reality. Soon, those imagined scenes became real stages, real lectures, real books that changed millions of lives. And then there was Andrew Carnegie, the steel magnate. He did not stumble upon his fortune. He fixed a definite purpose in his mind: to build the steel backbone of America. And every thought, decision, and action of his life bent itself to that aim. He did not scatter his energy across a dozen ventures. He concentrated it, like sunlight through a magnifying glass, on one burning desire. And the world saw the results: railroads, skyscrapers, and bridges rising from his steel. These men were not lucky. They were not superhuman. They were men who understood how to give clear instructions to the most powerful force in existence: their own subconscious minds. This is not positive thinking. You may be tempted to think this is just positive thinking. It is not. Positive thinking is like blowing air into the wind. Subconscious programming is like planting seeds into soil. It creates a harvest that cannot be denied. Every word you whisper to yourself, every picture you hold in your imagination, every emotion you dwell upon, these are the seeds. Over time, your subconscious turns them into reality, whether you realize it or not. That's why some people seem cursed to repeat the same failures. They tell themselves, "I'm unlucky. I can't win. I'll never succeed." Their subconscious takes those words as commands and works night and day to prove them right. But the great ones, men like Rockefeller, Ford, and Edison, gave their minds different orders. Rockefeller's millionaire mindset. Before John D. Rockefeller had earned his first million, he already carried himself like a man worth hundreds of millions. He spoke with calm confidence. He walked with the assurance of destiny. He believed, with unwavering faith, that he was meant to dominate the oil industry. His subconscious mind, receiving those orders day after day, began to shape circumstances to match his belief. The deals, the opportunities, the strategies, they flowed to him because he expected them to. Rockefeller did not become wealthy and then think like a wealthy man. He thought like a wealthy man first. And then he became one. Ford and Edison. Belief before proof. Henry Ford saw the assembly line in his mind years before it existed in his factories. He dreamed of automobiles that every family could afford long before he had the tools to build them. To the world, it seemed impossible. To Ford's subconscious, it was already real. Thomas Edison was no different. He did not invent the light bulb and then believe in himself. He believed in himself first, and then invented the light bulb. He understood a profound law: belief comes before evidence. Faith is the blueprint. Achievement is the construction. Your turn now, let me speak to you directly. Every thought you think is either moving you toward your destiny or pulling you away from it. Every word you whisper in your mind is either programming success or programming failure. Every feeling you allow is either strengthening your new identity or chaining you to your old limitations. This is the law of the subconscious. It does not rest. It does not argue. It only obeys. So I ask you, what are you commanding your mind to create right now? Are you feeding it fear, doubt, and worry? Then expect more of the same. Or are you planting visions of success, wealth, health, and purpose? Then prepare yourself, because those seeds will grow. This is not theory. This is the exact blueprint used by every master of destiny. And it begins with one decision: to take control of your own mental programming. The call to action tonight: when you are alone, stand before your mirror. Look yourself in the eye and say these words out loud. I am becoming the person I was born to be, and nothing in this universe can stop my transformation. Say it with conviction. Say it with authority. Say it until your subconscious accepts it as fact. Because the truth is this: you are not waiting to become successful. You are success. You are not hoping for transformation. You are transformation. This is the first step in reprogramming your mind, and in part 2, we will go even deeper into the laws of repetition, visualization, and definite purpose, the very tools the greats used to rise from nothing to everything. Backhand index pointing right. That's part 1, 1,000 words, rewritten in a Napoleon Hill, inspired story style, easy to read, engaging, and motivational for American readers. Would you like me to go ahead and continue writing part 2, another 1,000 words, right away, so you have the flow moving forward? Part 2, the discipline of faith and the power of association. It was early morning in Chicago when Clement Stone stood before his mirror, eyes sharp, shoulders squared, and voice booming with conviction. The world outside was uncertain, the economy shaky, opportunities scarce. But Stone didn't care about the world outside. He was busy commanding the world inside. Today, he declared to his own reflection, I will succeed. I will sell. I will grow. These were not idle words. They were orders, given to the most loyal servant he had ever known, his subconscious mind. Unlike most men, who let their thoughts wander like wild horses, Stone trained his mind with military precision. Every morning, every evening, and hundreds of times in between, he fed his subconscious clear, definite instructions. He understood that the subconscious does not argue, does not question, does not pause to doubt. It accepts. It obeys. And it creates. Stone treated his mind like a fertile garden. He knew that weeds would grow if left unattended. So instead, he planted seeds of ambition, wealth, confidence, and success. And he watered them with repetition and emotion until they became unshakable truths. The power of mental movies. Stone also mastered another skill. The power of mental movies. He knew that the subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between what is vividly imagined and what is actually experienced. So, he closed his eyes and played films of his success on the screen of his mind. He saw himself shaking hands with clients, closing big deals, expanding his empire. He imagined the joy of achievement until it was as real to him as breathing. Soon enough, his subconscious accepted those visions not as dreams, but as memories of a future that had not yet happened, but surely would. This was not daydreaming. This was deliberate mental conditioning, scientific programming. And the results were undeniable. Faith before evidence. But Stone was not alone in this discovery. Dale Carnegie, long before he was famous, practiced the same principle. Carnegie did not wait for evidence to justify his belief. He believed first, then created evidence. He had no grand credentials, no long resume, no impressive stage when he began. What he had was faith that he could help ordinary people speak with confidence, think with clarity, and change their lives. And so he acted as if that faith were already proven true. He taught, he spoke, he wrote, he shared, until the world caught up with the man he had already become in his own mind. Faith, you see, is not passive hope. Faith is active knowing. Faith is the fire that burns even when the night is darkest, even when circumstances seem to shout the opposite of your desire. Faith is the bridge between imagination and reality. Every man or woman who has achieved greatness followed this same pattern. They believed before the world believed. They acted like the person they were becoming before the world recognized them as that person. And so must you. Say the words right now, stop and speak this declaration aloud. I am the master of my thoughts, the director of my emotions, and the architect of my destiny. Say it with conviction. Say it until your voice vibrates with certainty. Feel those words settle into your subconscious like seeds planted in rich soil. With each repetition, you weaken the grip of your old limitations and strengthen the power of your new identity. Remember this: every time you affirm your success with feeling, you are programming your mind to create evidence of that success in your life. This is not magic. This is law. The Mastermind principle. Now, let me tell you about another law, the one Andrew Carnegie credited for his entire fortune. The Mastermind principle. Carnegie once admitted, I owe everything I have achieved to the power of a mastermind alliance. What did he mean? He meant that no man achieves greatness alone. He surrounded himself with individuals whose talents complemented his own. He gathered steel experts, engineers, financiers, managers, the finest minds in every field connected to his definite purpose. Together, they formed what Napoleon Hill called a third mind, a mind greater than the sum of its parts. This collective intelligence produced solutions, ideas, and opportunities that Carnegie could never have conceived alone. And it made him the steel king of America. Henry Ford used the same principle. Ford himself was not the most brilliant engineer, but he assembled a team of the brightest mechanical and manufacturing minds of his day. They filled the gaps in his knowledge, and together, they built the Ford Motor Company into a giant that reshaped the world. Thomas Edison did the same. His famous Menlo Park laboratory was more than just a workshop. It was a hive of genius, buzzing with scientists and inventors whose combined intelligence birthed innovations that changed the course of history. Edison understood that genius thrives in collaboration, not isolation. Choose your circle, and now I must turn the spotlight on you. Who surrounds you? Every relationship in your life is either lifting you up or pulling you down. Every conversation is either expanding your thinking or shrinking it. The quality of your associations determines the quality of your thoughts, and your thoughts determine the quality of your results. You cannot rise above mediocrity while keeping company with mediocrity. You cannot soar with eagles while scratching in the dirt with chickens. So examine your circle carefully. Ask yourself, does this person believe in my potential, or remind me of my limits? Does this friend inspire me to grow, or pull me back into comfort? Does this relationship accelerate my progress, or anchor me to my past? Be ruthless in your answers. Have the courage to distance yourself from those who hold you down and draw closer to those who lift you higher, because your future depends on it. Say this now, right now, declare this aloud. I choose my associations with wisdom, and I surround myself only with those who elevate my thinking and accelerate my progress. Let these words echo in your heart. Let them guide your choices. Because your associations are not just friendships. They are investments in your destiny. The bridge between desire and destiny. And so, part 2 of our journey leaves you with 2 undeniable truths. 1. Your subconscious mind obeys repetition and emotion. Feed it faith, vision, and certainty, and it will create your reality. Feed it doubt, fear, and weakness, and it will create your downfall. Point 2. Your environment shapes your mind. Surround yourself with people who believe, who create, who rise, and you will rise with them. This is not philosophy. This is the way every titan of industry, every self-made millionaire, every leader of destiny has built their empire. Remember, persistence fuels faith. Association multiplies power. And both together create unstoppable momentum. In part 3, we will explore the law of persistence, the relentless force that turns temporary defeat into lasting victory. You will learn why most men quit just inches from success, and how you can train yourself to keep going until the prize is in your hands. But for now, let this truth settle into your soul. Your success is not a possibility. It is a certainty. Backhand index pointing right. That's part 2, around 1,000 words, rewritten in Napoleon Hill style, story-driven, motivational, simple language for American readers. Would you like me to go straight into part 3, persistence, the relentless force, now, so we keep the same flow and momentum? Part 3. Persistence. The fire that never dies. On a cold evening in Cleveland, a young John D. Rockefeller stared at his empty ledger book. His first business venture had collapsed. Debts loomed. Friends whispered that he was finished before he had even started. But Rockefeller did not quit. He sat at his desk, took a deep breath, and wrote these words to himself. I will never let failure defeat me. I will persist until I succeed. That single choice, to persist, was the turning point. He would go on to build Standard Oil, the mightiest corporation of its age, but only because he refused to surrender when most men would have walked away. Failure is only a teacher. Every titan of industry has met obstacles that could have ended their dreams. The difference between them and the crowd was not genius, nor luck, nor even resources. It was persistence. Henry Ford failed twice before the Ford Motor Company ever existed. Investors abandoned him. Factories shut down. But Ford kept working on his vision, an affordable car for the everyday American family. Each setback was not a tombstone, but a stepping stone. His failures refined his vision and hardened his resolve. Thomas Edison faced perhaps the harshest ridicule. Teachers called him too dumb to learn. Later, his experiments failed thousands of times. When asked how he could endure so much failure, Edison smiled and said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that do not work. That perspective, seeing failure as learning, not defeat, is what lit the bulb that brightened the world. Persistence is not blind stubbornness. It is intelligent, adaptable determination. It is the fire that keeps burning when winds of doubt blow hardest. A declaration of persistence. You must now speak this truth aloud. I persist until I succeed. Success is my only option. Failure is not in my vocabulary. Say it with conviction. Say it until you feel the words rushing through your veins. Persistence must not be something you try. It must become who you are. You are persistence itself, living in human form. Obstacles are not walls. They are weights designed to strengthen your will. Each challenge is a test asking, how badly do you want it? And your answer must always be, badly enough never to quit. The law of compensation. But persistence alone is not enough. It must be tied to service. This is where the law of compensation comes in. The law is simple. You are always compensated in direct proportion to the value you provide to others. The more people you serve, the greater your reward. Andrew Carnegie became one of the wealthiest men in history because he provided the steel that built America's bridges, railroads, and skyscrapers. His fortune was not luck, it was society's reward for his massive contribution. Henry Ford didn't just build cars. He gave ordinary families the gift of affordable transportation. He created freedom. His wealth was the inevitable byproduct of solving one of humanity's greatest problems. Thomas Edison did not chase money. He chased solutions. The phonograph, the motion picture camera, the electric light, each invention made life easier, richer, and brighter for millions. His fame and fortune came as a natural consequence. The pattern is clear: don't chase wealth, create value. Don't chase recognition, earn it through contribution. Shift from getting to giving. Ask yourself right now, what can I give? What problems can I solve for others? How can I serve? The moment you shift from what can I get to what can I give, you align yourself with the law of compensation. Your subconscious mind will go to work finding ways to create value, and success will begin chasing you instead of the other way around. Say this aloud with strength. I create wealth by creating value for others. My success is the natural result of my service to humanity. Let this become the guiding principle of your life. Programming your subconscious. Persistence and contribution both require mastery of your subconscious mind. Clement Stone repeated his affirmations hundreds of times a day until they became automatic as breathing. His subconscious mind accepted them as commands and set about creating them in reality. Dale Carnegie visualized his success so vividly that his subconscious believed he was already living it. He imagined standing before audiences, inspiring crowds, writing books that would change lives. And soon, his reality matched his imagination. Understand this: your subconscious mind is your most loyal servant. It never rests. It never questions. It simply executes the orders you give it, whether those orders come from fear and doubt or from faith and certainty. So choose your thoughts deliberately. Guard them carefully. Feed your mind only the beliefs that align with the person you are becoming. Right now, speak this command. I program my subconscious mind for success through repetition, visualization, and unwavering faith in my destiny. The power of definite purpose but persistence, compensation, and mental programming will scatter unless they are tied to a definite purpose. Andrew Carnegie's burning desire was crystal clear: to become the world's leading producer of steel. Every decision he made flowed from that purpose. That clarity gave him strength his competitors lacked. Henry Ford's definite purpose was equally sharp: to make automobiles affordable for ordinary people. That single-minded focus changed not only his destiny but the destiny of modern civilization. Without purpose, even the most talented individuals drift like ships without rudders. With it, ordinary men and women achieve extraordinary results. Your definite purpose is the anchor for your persistence. It is the magnet for your subconscious mind. It is the North Star that guides every decision. Closing declaration as you step into part 3 of your journey. Remember, persistence turns failure into stepping stones. Compensation flows to those who serve. The subconscious mind obeys your repeated commands. Definite purpose focuses all your power on one mighty goal. Now declare this truth aloud. I persist until I succeed. I create value for others. I program my mind for victory. And I live every day guided by a definite purpose. This is not who you will become someday. This is who you are now. In part 4, we will dive into the mystery of desire, the spark that ignites persistence, feeds purpose, and attracts wealth like a magnet. That's part 3, persistence, almost equals 1,000 words, written in a Napoleon Hill style story format, motivational and easy for American readers. Do you want me to continue straight into part 4? The power of desire, so your 6-part series keeps flowing without pause. Part 4. The power of burning desire. One summer evening, a young man named Edwin C. Barnes made a decision that would change his life forever. He stood on the train platform in New Jersey with no money in his pocket, no friends waiting for him, and no plan except a burning desire that consumed every cell of his being. Barnes had decided that he would become a business partner with Thomas Edison. Not an employee. Not a clerk. A partner. To anyone else, it sounded insane. Barnes had no education, no money, no influence. Yet he carried with him something far more powerful than credentials. He carried an all-consuming, unshakable desire. When he arrived at Edison's office, the great inventor looked him up and down and saw nothing impressive. But Edison later said, there was something in the expression of his face which conveyed the impression that he was determined to get what he had come after. I gave him a chance because I saw he was ready. That burning desire kept Barnes working in Edison's offices for years, doing menial tasks, waiting for his moment. And when the opportunity finally appeared, when Edison invented the dictating machine, Barnes seized it. He sold the machine with such passion that Edison made him a partner. Barnes earned millions and secured his place in history, all because he had the one quality most people lack: a burning desire. Desire, the starting point of all achievement. Napoleon Hill declared it boldly. The starting point of all achievement is desire. Not a wish. Not a hope. Not a vague dream. A white-hot, burning desire that will not let you sleep, that will not let you quit, that becomes the very oxygen of your life. Think of Andrew Carnegie. As a poor immigrant boy working in a steel mill, he dreamed, not of survival, not of comfort, but of becoming the greatest steel magnate in the world. That desire grew into a definite purpose, and that purpose guided every step of his journey. Henry Ford did not merely want to build cars. He burned with the desire to put America on wheels. When skeptics laughed, when banks refused loans, when engineers doubted his vision, Ford's desire roared like a furnace. That furnace produced the Model T, the assembly line, and the transformation of modern life. Thomas Edison was not driven by curiosity alone. His burning desire was to light the world. That desire fueled thousands of experiments, thousands of failures, and finally, the success that banished darkness from homes and cities forever. Without burning desire, none of these men would have persisted through crushing failures. Desire is the fire that keeps you moving when logic says, quit. The difference between wanting and desiring here is the truth. Most people want success. But wanting is weak. Wanting dies when obstacles appear. Desire is different. Desire is relentless. Desire says, I will find a way or make a way. Wanting says, I'll try for a while. Desire says, I'll do this or die trying. That's why desire transforms ordinary men into giants of achievement. When Barnes stood before Edison, he didn't say, I'd like to work here. He said in his heart, I will become Edison's partner. And he did. How desire shapes the subconscious. Your subconscious mind does not respond to casual wishes. It responds to burning desire backed by faith and emotion. If you keep repeating weak thoughts, I hope I'll succeed someday, your subconscious has no fuel to act upon. But when you declare with passion, I will succeed, I must succeed, I am destined to succeed, your subconscious accepts it as truth and begins constructing the reality that matches. Desire is the spark that ignites persistence. Desire is the magnet that draws ideas, people, and resources into your path. Desire is the seed from which definite purpose grows. Transforming desire into faith. Desire alone is not enough, you must transform it into faith. Faith is desire with wings. Clement Stone repeated his affirmations hundreds of times each day because he knew that faith comes through repetition. Every word he spoke with conviction fueled his burning desire until it became absolute certainty. Dale Carnegie visualized his future so vividly that his subconscious believed it was already real. He didn't just hope to be a teacher and writer. He saw himself living that reality before the world ever knew his name. His desire transformed into faith, and his faith transformed into destiny. The story of desire in action. Picture this: Thomas Edison, exhausted after yet another failed attempt at the light bulb, walking into his laboratory with soot-stained hands. Around him, assistants mutter about wasted time, wasted money, wasted effort. But Edison's eyes still burn with desire. He waves away their doubts and says, We are not discouraged. We are one step closer to success. That burning desire kept him going until the moment the filament glowed bright. And in that instant, centuries of darkness ended. Desire demands action. Desire without action is fantasy. Desire with action becomes destiny. Barnes acted on his desire by boarding that train with empty pockets. Carnegie acted on his desire by taking every opportunity in the steel industry. Ford acted on his desire by experimenting, failing, and building again. Edison acted by burning through thousands of experiments. You must act on your desire now. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Today. Ask yourself, what action can I take right now to move one step closer to my dream? Then do it. No matter how small, action is proof of desire. Your burning declaration now. I command you to declare these words with fire in your voice. I do not merely want success, I burn for it. My desire is relentless. My destiny is certain because I act with passion, faith, and persistence. Feel the heat of those words in your chest. This is the moment when desire stops being a wish and becomes a command to your subconscious mind. Closing the lesson in this part, you've learned, desire is the starting point of all achievement. Desire must be white-hot, not lukewarm. Desire fuels persistence, ignites faith, and directs the subconscious mind. Desire must always be followed by definite action. Barnes, Carnegie, Ford, Edison, Stone, Carnegie. All the great builders of America proved this law with their lives. And now it is your turn. In Part 5, we will uncover the mystery of imagination, the workshop where burning desire is transformed into concrete plans and realities. Fire. That's Part 4, the power of burning desire in Napoleon Hill's story style, 1,000 words. Do you want me to continue directly with Part 5, imagination, so the full 6-part flow stays connected? Part 5, the workshop of imagination. There is a small workshop inside your mind. It has no walls, no machines, no smoke or noise. And yet, in this workshop, the wealth of nations is born. In this workshop, fortunes are created, empires are built, and ideas take shape before the world ever sees them. Napoleon Hill called this workshop imagination. Every great achievement that has ever blessed mankind began here, in the quiet, invisible workshop of the human mind. Ford's dream that changed the world in the early 1900s. Henry Ford stood in a small wooden shed with a few tools, a few scraps of metal, and a burning vision in his imagination. While most men saw automobiles as expensive toys for the rich, Ford's imagination painted a different picture. He saw families farmers, and workers driving cars of their own. He saw America on wheels. When bankers laughed at his ideas, when engineers told him it was impossible, Ford returned to his workshop of imagination. Again and again, he refined the picture in his mind until it was clear and alive. That image guided his hands and his actions until the Model T rolled off the assembly line. Ford's imagination not only gave birth to an industry, it reshaped the way humanity moves, works, and lives. Edison's endless workshop. Thomas Edison, the Wizard of Menlo Park, lived in the workshop of imagination. His laboratory was full of wires, bottles, coils, and papers, but the true workshop was his mind. When others doubted, Edison imagined. He pictured music captured and replayed, the phonograph. He pictured darkness banished, the light bulb. He pictured voices carried across continents, the telephone. Each invention began not with tools, but with an imaginative picture so clear that Edison could almost touch it before it existed. He once said, "To invent, you need a good imagination and a pile of junk." The pile of junk was worthless without the workshop of imagination. Synthetic and creative imagination. Napoleon Hill divided imagination into two kinds. 1. Synthetic imagination, when you rearrange old ideas, concepts, and plans into new combinations. This is how most inventions are made, by improving on what already exists. Point 2. Creative imagination, when the mind connects with infinite intelligence and receives new ideas, inspirations, and flashes of genius. This is where breakthroughs come from, where the unseen whispers its secrets to those who are ready. Both forms are powerful. Both are essential. But creative imagination, the rare spark that gave us the light bulb, the airplane, the telephone, is what turns men into legends. The story of the Wright brothers. At the dawn of the 20th century, men believed human flight was impossible. Learned scholars wrote thick books proving it could never happen. But two bicycle mechanics from Dayton, Ohio, Orville and Wilbur Wright, allowed their imagination to soar where logic would not. They pictured men flying. They pictured machines rising into the sky like birds. Their neighbors thought them foolish, yet their imagination persisted. One windy day at Kitty Hawk, their dream took wings. The world was forever changed because two men dared to believe what they first imagined. Imagination in your own life. Look around you right now. Every object, the phone in your hand, the chair you sit on, the building around you, once existed only in someone's imagination. A man imagined a glowing filament, and we received electric light. A woman imagined voices carried across wires, and we received the telephone. A dreamer imagined instant communication across the globe, and we now hold the internet in our palms. Imagination is not fantasy. Imagination is the blueprint of reality. The secret of successful men. Andrew Carnegie built steel mills before a single beam was laid. He saw them in his imagination. Henry Ford built cars before the first wheel turned. He saw them in his imagination. Clement Stone built a sales empire by imagining a nationwide force of motivated men. These men used imagination to plan their destiny, then used persistence and action to bring it to life. They understood this eternal law: if you can see it in your imagination with enough clarity and faith, you can hold it in your hands. How to use your workshop. You, too, must learn to use your imagination deliberately. Here is how. 1. Picture your definite purpose clearly every night. Before you sleep, close your eyes and picture your goal. See yourself living it. Smell the air, feel the texture, hear the sounds. Make it vivid. Point 2. Mix desire with imagination. Desire without imagination is blind. Imagination without desire is empty. Together, they form a powerful force. Point 3. Write down your vision. Words on paper crystallize imagination into form. Describe your dream in detail, as if writing the blueprint for an architect. Point 4. Repeat daily. Each repetition strengthens the image in your subconscious mind. Soon, it becomes a command instead of a wish. Point 5. Act on small steps. The universe rewards those who act. Each action builds faith, and each faith-fueled action draws your vision closer. A story to remember. Picture a young man named Edwin Barnes once again. He did not merely desire to be Edison's partner, he imagined it. In his mind, he saw himself standing beside Edison, shaking his hand as a partner, not a worker. That picture in his imagination burned so clearly that it guided every step, every choice, every word. And in time, the world bent to match the picture in his mind. Imagination and the subconscious mind is like fertile soil. Imagination plants the seed. Desire waters it. Faith protects it. Persistence harvests it. Without imagination, the soil lies empty. With imagination, the soil grows forests, cities, nations, and empires. Desire plus imagination equals reality. Think of it like this: desire is the fire. Imagination is the blueprint. Faith is the builder. Persistence is the hammer and nails. Together, they create miracles. Your declaration of imagination now. Declare these words with power. I am the master builder of my destiny. In the workshop of my imagination, I create visions of success, wealth, and greatness. What I picture in my mind, I will bring into reality. Say it again until your heart believes it. Let your imagination paint the masterpiece of your future. Closing the lesson in this part, you have discovered, imagination is the workshop of the mind. There are two types, synthetic and creative imagination. Every great invention, fortune, and empire began as a picture in someone's imagination. You must deliberately use your imagination daily to shape your destiny. Now you understand the workshop of imagination. But a workshop without tools, without structure, cannot build. That is why in part 6 we will uncover the secret of organized planning, the step that transforms imagination into practical, concrete action. Fire. That's part 5, the workshop of imagination in Napoleon Hill's story style, 1,000 words. Part 6, organized planning, the bridge from dream to reality. There is a moment in every dreamer's life when the vision is clear, the desire is burning, the faith is alive, and the imagination has painted a masterpiece. But then comes the question, how do I turn this dream into reality? Napoleon Hill gave us the answer in one phrase: organized planning. Dreams without plans are only wishes. Desire without plans is frustration. Faith without plans is wasted potential. Planning is the bridge between imagination and reality. Carnegie's steel empire. When Andrew Carnegie was a young man, he imagined an empire of steel. But steel mills do not build themselves. Fortune does not arrive by accident. Carnegie assembled a team of brilliant men, engineers, managers, salesmen, each one stronger than him in their field. He organized their talents under a single plan. With discipline, strategy, and teamwork, he transformed iron into steel, steel into cities, and cities into wealth. Carnegie once said, "Teamwork is the fuel that allows common people to attain uncommon results." His fortune was not the product of random chance, but of organized planning backed by definite purpose. Henry Ford's assembly line. Henry Ford did not invent the automobile. What he invented was a system, a plan so revolutionary that it changed history. Before Ford, automobiles were handcrafted luxuries. They took weeks to build and cost a fortune. Ford imagined cars for the common man. Then he designed a plan, the assembly line. With that one organized system, Ford cut costs, increased speed, and put America on wheels. His vision was great, but his plan was greater. Without the assembly line, his dream would have died in the workshop of imagination. With it, he became one of the wealthiest men in the world. Edison's method of 10,000. Thomas Edison's laboratory was not a place of random experiments. It was a place of organized planning. When Edison set out to invent the light bulb, he tested over 10,000 filaments. This was not madness, it was method. Each test was recorded. Each result was measured. Each failure was catalogued. What seemed like persistence alone was actually persistence combined with organized planning. Edison himself said, "I never failed once. I just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His plan was to test until success was inevitable. And success came. The mastermind principle. Napoleon Hill insisted that no man achieves great success alone. Behind every titan of industry was a team, a mastermind group. Edison had his team of engineers. Ford had his designers and managers. Carnegie had his board of steel experts. Each man understood that organized planning requires organized people. One person with desire is strong. But a group of people united by purpose is unstoppable. Your plan must include not just steps and strategies, but people, those who will support you, guide you, and strengthen you when your vision is tested. Why most plans fail. Hill warned us that most people fail not because they lack desire or imagination, but because their plans are weak. They make vague goals instead of definite ones. They plan once and never adjust. They act without feedback or correction. The successful man or woman builds flexible plans. Like rivers, They bend around obstacles but never stop flowing toward their destination. The 6 steps of organized planning here is how you can create your bridge from dream to reality. 1. Form a definite purpose. Write it down in clear, simple language. If it cannot be explained in one sentence, it is not definite enough. Point 2. Create a master plan. List the exact steps required, from the first small action to the final achievement. Point 3. Assemble a mastermind group. Surround yourself with those who believe in your vision and can add their knowledge, skills, and support. Point 4. Assign deadlines. A dream without a date is a wish. A goal with a date is a command to the subconscious. Point 5. Take immediate action. Even the smallest action moves the plan from paper into life. Action creates momentum. Point 6. Evaluate and adjust continuously. No plan survives unchanged. Review it weekly. Improve it monthly. Adapt it until success bows before you. A story of organized planning in action. Clement Stone, the insurance magnate, started with almost nothing. But he had desire, imagination, and faith. To transform those into wealth, he created a plan: recruit salesmen, train them with scripts, track every number, reward results. He followed the plan with military discipline. The result? A multi-million-dollar empire and a life devoted to teaching others the power of positive mental attitude. His fortune was not luck. It was organized planning executed without hesitation. Your plan, your destiny. Imagine a builder with a pile of bricks but no blueprint. What would happen? Chaos. Waste. Collapse. Now imagine the same builder with a detailed plan, a team of workers, and the discipline to follow the design. The result? A magnificent cathedral that stands for centuries. Your life is that cathedral. Desire is your bricks. Faith is your mortar. Imagination is your design. But organized planning is the blueprint that makes it stand. Declaration of organized planning. Now, speak these words aloud with conviction. I transform my dreams into reality through organized planning. I build my fortune step by step, guided by definite purpose, united with a mastermind, and strengthened by persistence. I act daily, adjust wisely, and refuse to quit until success is mine. Closing the journey. You have now traveled through the 6 great steps of Napoleon Hill's philosophy. 1. Desire, the starting point of all achievement. 2. Faith, believing before seeing. 3. Persistence, the power to endure. 4. Subconscious mind, the silent servant. 5. Imagination, the workshop of the mind. 6. Organized planning, the bridge to reality. This is not just theory. It is the proven path walked by Carnegie, Edison, Ford, Rockefeller, and every great achiever in history. Now it is your turn. The world waits not for your wishes, but for your plans. The stage is empty. The tools are ready. The spotlight is yours. Step forward. Create your plan. Organize your dream. Act with courage. And know this truth: fire. Your destiny is waiting to be built, and you are the master builder. White heavy check mark. That's part 6. Organized planning, written in Napoleon Hill's storytelling style, 1,000 words, and it ties together the whole series. If these lessons have inspired you, don't keep them to yourself. Great ideas grow stronger when shared. Backhand index pointing right. Subscribe so you never miss future insights on success, mindset, and achievement. Backhand index pointing right. Share this with friends, family, or anyone who needs encouragement to keep going. Backhand index pointing right. Comment below with your biggest breakthrough or the principle you're going to apply first. Your words might inspire someone else to change their life. Remember, knowledge is only power when it's applied. Take action now. Your destiny is waiting.